Every year, a large number of Jamaicans find themselves repatriated to their home country against their wishes. The challenge of resuming a life and livelihood in Jamaica after an absence which might be as much as 20 or 30 years can be daunting, but there is help at hand and the challenge can be met.
My name is Glenn Powell, President of the National Organization of Deported Migrants, popularly known as NodM. I am the President. I am involved with the day-to-day operation. I am also the primary person who meet and greet persons upon their return to the island and transport them to their destination. The purpose of this DVD is to make persons in the process of being removed or deported be aware of the services that are available to them upon their return, and also to share experiences of persons who are already here in Jamaica. When I learned that I was to be removed or deported, so to speak, naturally it wasn't something that you welcome. You know, you're going to be away from your family, you're going to be detached from that. The livelihood that you created for yourself, you're going to be removed from. So it was a natural fear. You know, upon arrival, I had friends who met me and eased a lot of those challenges for me because they were there and they walked me through a lot of the process. They actually make me aware that I would be needing identification, my birth certificate, all that, and they basically took me around to get those. But then I started to think that there may be persons who won't have that. So that's where the idea of forming an organization came about. The joy of seeing persons, especially family members who are awaiting them. Sometimes the families are on the other end, can't wait for them to arrive. I remember one instance, we contacted a sister to let her know our brother was on. We were on the way with our brother. She stood by our gate the entire trip and she kept calling us to find out where we were. And upon arrival, as soon as the door opened, she just jumped on him and just burst out crying, you know? And it was a joyous occasion to see that.
Every week, a number of Jamaican citizens are required to return to their home country, having overstayed their immigration conditions or committed a crime in another country. We can only imagine their feelings as they peer out the aircraft window on the final approach to a land they may have only spent a small portion of their lives in. A sense of wonder at the vibrant, beautiful colors of both land and sea, and the anticipation of a warm welcome from family and friends will be tempered by apprehension as the reality of finding a job or occupation in unfamiliar circumstances hits home. Fortunately, help is at hand. Processing of returnees takes place at both national airports. A brief interview will be conducted by officials to verify the identity and background of each returnee. This is a short process, and before long, returnees will be able to collect their baggage and get ready for the next stage of their lives. It's important to collect Form C-27 from Customs before exiting the airport, as this will facilitate the tax-free shipment of personal effects over the ensuing 6-month period. A key support organization is the National Organization of Deported Migrants, or NodM as they're known. The NodM's responsibilities include providing transportation, reuniting persons with their families, and processing queries regarding accommodation and redocumentation.
NodM is an organization run by deported migrants, directed by the decisions are made in the interest of NodM by its membership who are deported migrants.
We also provide emergency accommodation. We help with documentation in the form of birth certificate, TRN. Also help with customs, because you have a lot of people who comes back and have a lot of things to clear and they don't know how to go about it. They don't know what waivers they have for them and all that. We provide that kind of assistance.
Jamaica, the most vibrant little country in the world. You will find that the people are welcoming and colourful, and our dynamic culture is always adding new elements.
Coming back wasn't an easy road, but with determination and ambition, you can do it. My first job was in a bar. I started at the bar, And I worked and people saw me and they talked to me and they find that I was a painter and I had other things that I could do. And so I got employment. I draw paintings for people and I sell them. And then I went to my grandchildren's basic school and I done volunteer work for them. And I also recreate myself by going back to college and learning a new skill. And it is not easy, but you can do it, you know? And right now, I am at a road place where I am comfortable, right? Being back home, I'm comfortable. At first, I used to think of going back to the UK or back to some other foreign country because it was so hard in Jamaica. But when I gradually stay here and I try to build back, it becomes easier. So one of the good things about being back is being with my family because I miss them so much that time. And I'm back with them now. I don't even want to go nowhere and leave them.
Everything that I'm doing today is just ambition. I returned to Jamaica in 2003. Spent 14 years abroad. And upon returning, I engaged in JPS work. I learned electrical trade by being on the job and training. I never stopped doing it 10 years later. In the process, I learned how to string houses, or just say wire houses. And I get recommended more and more. One, because I'm honest, and two, because I do good work. If I want to be a GI, General Inspector, work for the government, come inspect your house. If Tom strokes, wire it, and make sure you do it right. That is my aim.
The Open Arms Drop-In Centre in Kingston provides free short-term accommodation and 3 meals a day, and along with trained staff to assess the needs of returnees and advise on skills training and employment opportunities.
We have persons going to barber training, pastry making, various other trainings, along with the ideas that persons return with. You can become entrepreneurs, and we can get small business loans and set up their own businesses. We also encourage persons to look around the neighborhoods or the communities that they reside in and see where there's a need and try to provide that need so they can utilize that opportunity for business purposes.
I've started a business. The name of my business is M&R, and I sell from a pin to an anchor. You can find everything there, including ear, nail, glue, polish, chicken back, and clothing, slippers. Everything that you needed, you can find it there. And I support my community in a very special way. In the future, I want to expand my business into wholesale, and I can sell to smaller shops around in my community, and that I can also employ people to work with me.
Portland Rehab Centre is located in beautiful Port Antonio, and Open Heart Charitable Mission can be found on the outskirts of Montego Bay. Both facilities offer free accommodation under the program, along with a range of support services designed to reintegrate individuals safely into the community.
We have regional coordinators across the island to represent whichever parish a person goes to. So there's always someone who we can connect the person to provide guidance or any form of assistance where they are.
If you don't have a birth certificate, the Registrar General's Department should be your first stop. The process is very simple. First, you will need to speak to the information agent to get a number. Next, you'll have to wait until your number is called, at which point a customer service representative will take your information and you will verify the information and sign the document. The cashier will be your last stop at the RGD. At this point, you'll get a receipt to collect your birth certificate at a later date. The next step, your TRN. In applying for your TRN, you will have to bring along with you your birth certificate in addition to 2 passport pictures signed and stamped by a Justice of the Peace. Similar to the RGD's office, you'll be given a number and an application form to fill out while you wait. When your number is called, a representative will then begin the process of getting your TRN card. Both the TRN and birth certificate application process can be carried out in regional centers throughout the island. Finding employment in Jamaica, like anywhere else, can have its challenges, but there are organizations ready to assist our returnees with job searches or advice on starting their own businesses. There are also opportunities to complete skills training programs with registered organizations such as the Heart Trust and Open Arms. These aim to equip deported persons with vocational and literacy skills necessary to seek employment or start a business in Jamaica.
I came back in 2008. I tried many different things to find work and find a living that will, sustain myself. I got a chance to go to Heart. That has been a tremendous blessing. I got some much needed education. Would like to back that up with some CXC subject, which I'm still pursuing right now. I have a word game that I've invented. I would love to see that on the market. And the experience at Heart gave me the opportunity to design the board, because learning Photoshop, I was able to design the board exactly as how I was envisioning it in my mind.
When I came back to Jamaica, I was feeling bad about the whole situation. But when I sit down and consider for a while, I remember that I can do my little pastry. And I realized that I could start my own little business out of it, sell it to shopkeepers around the place. I got a sponsorship from British High Commission to attend Art Academy for 1 year, which I did pastry there, which helps me to be a better pastry maker. Yeah, my dream is to have my own little pastry shop with the little showcase them in front of it to put all different varieties of pastry, and to also later on in life to also further my education.
What we wanted to do was to get deported men and women as they return from England to structure a program for their reintegration back into the Jamaican society. We had intense discussions among the deported men and women, helping to come to terms with their reality back here in Jamaica, trying to redefine themselves and then to talk about where is it that they want to go from here. The vast majority of those men and women were not interested in going back to England. What they wanted more than anything else was a chance, a second chance at life to restructure their lives in their home country, which is Jamaica. I can think of a young man who was part of our workshop, and he now runs his own courier business. He does courier around town.
When I came back to Jamaica, I was shocked for 2 days because of the whole procedure, and I think it was rather embarrassing. Going through the whole process there and even by the airport. Stigma is always going to be there, no matter what, friends, family, no matter how they sit and laugh with you, that stigma is still going to be there. So, the best if you can just try and overcome it. I decided to get out there because I didn't want to sit down, and I've heard a lot of experiences. So I went out there, got out, tried to get a job to try to take care of myself, and from one thing to another, I started a tire repair. I did some cab service for a minute. I also was working on the bus system, and from there to the postal service, where I started my courier service, which is Quick Runner, and by there I got my first bike through the credit union, where I've had some income. That's why I invested some money in the credit union, and by working I purchased another bike, and also that's when I started to expand, where I had to employ workers, and it's a team of 4 of us because I employed 3 other persons with me also. Business is relatively good. I've had about 6 companies, and I'm still being recommended as the business progress. I also purchased a house out of all of this. So now I'm also a homeowner, paying my bills and having a steady flow of income on a daily basis, and try to invest while I continue doing my service for the country and for myself.
Starting over is always a challenge, but it's usually a challenge worth overcoming. We know our returning citizens will have a positive impact in our society, and we will provide as much support as they start new lives in Jamaica.